Another Premier League tactical chess match was occurring yesterday at the Emirates. This was the North London derby between two arch-rivals in Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. The game made the first encounter between Ange and Mikel Arteta, and we are going to see how both managers lined up their team for this game. In this game, both teams had an XG, with Tottenham having an XG of 2.2 with Arsenal 2.3. The game ended 2-2 courtesy of an own goal from Romero and a goal from Saka, while Son netted the double for Spurs. Before we continue, like, share and subscribe. So we start with the first team, which is Tottenham, and we're going to see how Tottenham were on the ball since they had majority of possession. So during the build-up, the two centre-backs will be dropping next to Vicario, while Odegaard and Nketiah would be quick to press the two centre-backs. That was the phenomenon throughout the game. Now, in these instances, we'll see the wingers starting wide, with Bissouma dropping deep to play as the pivot. Bissouma's work here was to receive the ball from the goalkeeper and the centre-backs. Backed to this press, Arsenal pressed in their default 4-2-4 kind of system, with Vieira picking up Bissouma and Saka and Jesus picking the two fullbacks. So when the ball will be played to Bissouma, Vieira would spring out to press him immediately. This would prompt Pedro Porro to be dropping and inverting in midfield, dragging Gabriel Jesus in the midfield, since Arsenal employed a man-oriented press. This will create spaces in the wide areas, especially down the right, where the goalkeeper would pick Sarr, who will be pushing out towards this position to receive the ball in space, since Jesus had been dragged by Porro. Arsenal's aggressive press would mean that Zinchenko will shift to try to cover Sarr, and therefore Son will be dropping deep to receive the ball and create an overload against Gabriel, where he will slip in Kulusevski, who will now take the ball and attempt to make runs. Also, another thing that we saw was James Maddison dropping deep during build-up. Since Maddison is much more press resistant compared to the fullbacks in this kind of position, Maddison will be the one dropping deep to receive the ball. This will ensure that he dragged Declan Rice out of position. So when Maddison will drop deep in these kinds of position, the fullbacks will be pushing high up to occupy the spaces vacated by Maddison. This will enable Pedro Porro and Udogie to be receiving the ball in between the lines high up the pitch and link up with Son and Kulusevski. Now, when Tottenham had more progressive phases of play, this is how they employed their tactical system. Udogie and Pedro Porro will be the ones inverting, with Bissouma being the deepest pivot. This would force Arsenal's pivots to be tied up to cover both Sarr and their wingers coming in to cover the two fullbacks. So Bissouma will be receiving the ball, and in most cases Bissouma will try to progress the ball down the right hand side, where they will ensure and create an overload against Arsenal, making the entire Arsenal team shift towards the right. So when the Arsenal team will shift towards the right, they will create spaces in the left channel, where Maddison will use quick switches and Udogie will be making these underlapping runs. Therefore, when Tottenham will try to shift play towards Johnson, and Udogie will be making this half space run, and therefore they will create 2v1 overload against Ben White. You can see here Ben White has been dragged out and Udogie is making the half space run, and this created some problems for Arsenal, especially since Udogie would attempt crosses or attempt shots in these positions. Now let's see what Arsenal did in possession. So in possession, Arsenal will start to build from the back. Their main build-up will be created because Son and Maddison were the two players who would press the two centre-backs. So Raya will be stepping out to form a back three together with Arsenal. You can see here how they were doing this. So in deep phases, Raya will act as the third centre-back with Zinchenko inverting, Odegaard and Vieira pushing high, and also Ben White pushing high to create an overload with Saka and Odegaard down the right. So Spurs started to use Son and Maddison to sit on Zinchenko and Rice, and therefore the Arsenal centre-backs had space on the ball. In progressive phases, it will be Ben White who will be tucking in to form the back three for Arsenal, with Zinchenko and Rice playing in midfield. Spurs will shift to a 4-1-4-1 with Sarr picking one of the pivots. So Arsenal attempted to also create their left-sided overload with Zinchenko, Vieira and Jesus down this left flank, where they will drag the entire Tottenham Hotspur team towards that area, leaving acres of space where Saka will receive the ball in space. And this time and time again we saw Saka receiving the ball, the position of Odegaard making Udogie to be in a 2v1 overload position, where Saka would either receive the ball and attempt a dribble past Udogie or slip in the ball for the runs of Odegaard. This was an incredible tactical match. Again, Ange Postecoglou showcased how he has managed to narrow the gap between his team and the traditional top 5 teams, matching up teams who are excellent such as Arsenal. You could clearly see that Ange's Tottenham was well equipped to match up with Mikel Arteta, both on possession and out of possession. Spurs scored 2 goals from open play and also displayed quite a remarkable and outstanding performance. Ange Postecoglou's era at Tottenham looks to be going on quite well. His strength and his ability to tactically go toe-to-toe against the best managers in the league was showcased in this game. This showcased how good he was. On the other hand, Mikel Arteta was also quite good, facing an on-form Tottenham Hotspur team. Arsenal Football Club managed to get a draw in this game, facing a tough opponent. And these two teams, Arsenal and Tottenham, will be eyeing to try and dispatch Manchester City from their patch. Both Mikel and Ange Postecoglou had incredible tactical ideas, some that I have not managed to capture in this video. Therefore, if you have any tactical knowledge on the game, share with us. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.